Power of You.
Hi.
Hi.
We're not doing a UX review, don't worry.
I was listening to the laughter in the comments, and I was like, oh, God, this is going to happen.
All right. Introduce yourself and tell us what your company does.
Yeah, my name is Keshav Malani. I'm the co-founder of Power of You. We help people take control of their data. I can't see anybody over there.
Yeah, no,
actually.
conversation with us.
We help people take control of their data, and we are starting by monetizing this data through market research, so helping brands understand their consumers through actual behavior data rather than the claimed behavior data that they currently use.
When you say you mean a consumer.
Correct.
And then brands are
supply side. So I think one of the questions was from a demand, and so actually demand becomes our brands, and supply is the data from consumers. So people like you and I and everybody here.
This is like the thing everyone's worried that Google is doing to all of our data.
Well, they are doing it, but they don't sell like first-person data or anything like that.
Yeah,
so they're not.
I guess that brings us to the first question.
Yeah.
Why would I want to do this as a consumer?
So it's already happening, to your point earlier about Google. So it's not just, so there's companies out there, Facebook, Google, and other companies actually all doing this for billions of dollars. They're helping us get something back. So I use Gmail. I love it. And I use it for free, and I want that.
So in here, am I just getting money?
Say that again?
Why would I use? So I get Gmail in return. What do I get in return for you?
You monetize so you do get paid money. And
how much money can they make?
How much can I make?
We're monetizing at $15 to $65 per data instance.
What is that? What is a data instance?
So anytime your data is used for an insight for a brand.
$15 to $65?
Yes.
How is that? How does that happen?
That's how much. We're doing market research.
So the average user that signs up to the platform, how much money are they making?
They would. Well, today. This is on average, because it's not. You only get paid if your data is used.
Yep.
So that's going to be about $35 if your data is used.
So a year, a day.
Every time. So, we just started monetizing 6 months ago, and so it's early data points.
What percentage of total users are actually getting paid, and then how much have you paid out in the last 6 months?
Okay. So percentage-wise, it's going to be about, that's a very small percent, about 8% people have already gotten paid. It's a matter of consolidation of people, the brands, and all that combination of things. And the amount that we've distributed back is about $3,000 already.
So what's your biggest problem right now?
Our biggest one is actually the sales cycle to brands. That's our biggest challenge.
So what's your sales cycle look like?
It can take anywhere from 2 months up to 6 months, and sometimes it drops out in that time.
Do you have enough supply to entice the brands?
That is something. Yes, we do have enough supply in the areas that we're targeting heavily, so specifically UK and US.
So if I'm Pepsi, and I come to Power of You, what's my normal payout? What's the normal contract look like?
So it's normally if
you come to me, right?
I would love for Pepsi to come to me. There, some people are starting to come, which is awesome, because they see the value of the data and the whole laws around regulation and stuff. The base that we start off with is at $15,000 for a 3-week project, where essentially the project is you would be bringing people on board, and we have the people that you are interested in, 18 to 25-year-olds in San Francisco who watch at least.
So I get $15,000. How many people do I get? What am I getting?
This would be anywhere from 100 to 200 people that would be in this project.
Okay, so you're worried about trying to build up your pipeline that happens on there. So how often are you closing new business?
So it's for. We have 3 clients right now that we're working with already, and
how often are you trying to bring in new business?
Well, it's an ongoing process because it takes so long to do it. But then we have these clients also renewing.
On average, how long does it take?
It's going to be at least 6 months.
Great. And then how many people do you have potentially in the pipeline that you're
we have about 8 people in the pipeline right now.
8 people. How many people are emailing a day?
We're not probably. I can tell you per week. We email at least 3 people per week.
Wow, that is tiny.
That is a whole 3 people.
Because the problem, the challenge there is you want to, because it takes you have to get to the right person, and so to find the right person before you reach out to them.
More specifically, you're identifying 3 decision makers.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
got it. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm still gonna blow your head. You need to be contacting 100 people a day. This is the first thing that we start telling B2B companies right away. And it's one of those things it takes 6 months, right? Yeah. And let's say, for example, you're working on this stuff and you're trying to hit certain kind of growth on there, that means like everything that you do right now to get to that point, like that helps you like feed into what's going to happen into the future.
Yes.
And the thing is, like a lot of people just like they get stuck on saying like, yes, I need multiple touch points, but they keep overthinking what that touch point is. Right? And that means, so for example, a lot of them think it's like the only touch points I have is like definitely a key decision maker. It has to definitely be a meeting or whatever. But really, like the first touch point should be like a simple email to as many people as possible, where it's just like, hi, I'm one of the founders of this. We're doing this and we're making this valuable. And what you're trying to find is low-hanging fruit, right? Those people where it's just like, they just get it, they understand it, clicks, and that happens on there. And the only way you're going to find low-hanging fruit is that you're doing this like shotgun approach.
Yeah, like in sales, like the best lead is the one that hangs up on you, because then you know you don't have to dedicate any more time to it.
Yeah.
So at this phase of your company, there isn't a lot of value in being very precise to find a specific brand and specific decision maker, because you just want information from your customers about do they actually want this, both brands and consumers.
Right.
You want to be promiscuous at this stage. And the thing is, like, you're trying to predict, like, who I think the key decision makers are, which kind of companies are going to like this. And it's really is one of those things, it's like, I see this kind of company, they like us, I'm going to find 1,000 other companies that's exactly like that.
Yeah, like you might not, I mean, you might find that like hospitals or some random group that you never even considered are actually the people who are most responsive. And before you know it, those could be your first 100, 200.
So like my task, if those was real office hours, I'd be like, all right, 3 a day or 3 a week or whatever. That's not enough. What I want you to do is like basically find a list of like top Fortune 5,000 companies and figure out how to email like everyone that you think is in that position.
There's also a sub point there, which Kevin is making, which is the more companies or potential customers you email, the more you're going to have to go outside of your preconceived assumptions of what is an ideal customer. And just with outside of your line of sight might actually be the truth. And I think there's many examples of startups which are very similar to huge companies, but ultimately fail because they just didn't get that one iteration that's a little outside. So early on, you almost have to be very skeptical about your assumptions about what these brands and these customers want, and that's another reason why just doing high volume will get you like learnings that you're not expecting.
And your task from there then is like a lot of people say like, I'm B2B, I'm enterprise. Like what number should I be tracking? Because I'm only going to be closing maybe 1 or 2 deals over a year or whatever happens on there. And it says like all the numbers you're tracking is all the stuff about like how effective you're being. I'm contacting 100 people a day. This is my response rate. This is my open rate. This is my click-through rate. These are my people ask for a demo. This is how many meetings I've signed up. If you're going to compete against someone who's got like a giant Salesforce team, you don't compete with them by going at one at a time. Yeah. You have to start to think through it. And the thing is like, there's tons of technology now available to people doing outbound sales, more than ever before. We fund tons of those companies now because we see that that's the future for how people are jump-starting businesses.
Yep. Thank you. Definitely.
So you have that's one kind of problem. Oh, okay. I was going to ask for another problem, but that's one type of problem. We'll do it quickly. One more. What's another thing that you're
that goes on the other side of the kind of equation is communicating our what we're offering to consumers, to people better, so that they don't freak out and they understand what we're doing. That it's for
Here's
their
the thing:
benefit.
you're looking for people who are like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just like...
I mean, I would do a lot of things for $65. I mean, if you can pay me $65,
and I would just lead with that. It's like, look, you give this data, you can make between this and this much money. Yeah. And here's the thing, you don't have to do anything. Just connect all your stuff that happens on there, and it comes passively.
Exactly.
And that's the only story you need to tell. It's super simple. The thing is, like, when I go to your website, you do not make that simple at all. You're like, look at all these areas of like dimensions and graphs. People don't care about the graphs.
$65.
Got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
I think we're out of time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can we do any takeaways?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, you're all good.
Okay, real quick takeaways. So marketplaces, identify supply, identify demand, see how the rate of growth is. Try to figure out where you're sort of constrained. If you're doing B2B stuff, work in mass.
Yeah, work aggressively outside of and just try not to be too confident in your assumptions. One thing that you guys can see in these 3 very different companies, similar but different companies, is Kevin and I are just focused on what are as we said at the beginning, what are the bottlenecks to growth? And really focusing on those. As a founder, there's a limitless amount of problems that you have to deal with and you have to work on. I implore you, and we implore you, and the thing that we work on most at YC in the program is focusing on those things which are bottlenecks to growth, and because it's a nice true north. When you wake up in the morning, you know what you got to work on, rather than, oh, I have this company and I have all these different problems that I have to deal with. You can just focus on that one thing. But anyways, that's
Okay,
office
thanks,
hours.
guys.
Thank you.